The mystery of the white webbing on rotten Petai beans, a microscopic investigation. Chapter 1. Ever seen anything like this? Imagine unwrapping your favorite Petai bitter bean, only to be greeted instead of the usual distinctive aroma by a dense web of white filaments, looking like an alien spiderweb. The question is, what exactly are these ghostly webs? Is it just ordinary mold? Or is something more complex going on beneath that dark brown skin? In this video, we'll do more than just answer that question. We'll explore a hidden microscopic world. Get ready to embark on a scientific journey that will change the way you look at spoiled Petai forever. Chapter 2. Why does Petai skin turn from green to dark brown? When Petai beans ripen and are exposed to air or perhaps sustain damage during harvesting, their cells begin to undergo oxidation. The pods contain compounds known as phenolics. When cells are damaged, an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, PPO, converts these phenolics into dark brown quinone compounds. This is the same mechanism that causes peeled apples to turn brown. Moreover, the appearance of this brown discoloration signals that the Petai's natural defenses have failed. The rigid cell wall structures soften, allowing sugars and nutrients to leak out. For airborne fungi, this is akin to the ringing of a dinner bell. That deep brown color acts as a wide-open gateway for decomposers to move in. Chapter 3. Does fungal mycelium grow after brown rot? So, do these white webs grow after the Petai turns brown? Precisely. That is 100% correct. Fungal spores are actually everywhere, in the air, on kitchen counters, and on our hands, but they are opportunistic. They only germinate when conditions are just right, damp, warm, and rich in nutrients. When the Petai pod turns dark brown and soft, its cell walls can no longer withstand the onslaught. Fungal spores begin absorbing moisture from the decaying Petai and sprout a tiny thread known as a hyphae. A single hyphae then branches out into hundreds and thousands of threads that intertwine to form the dense mat we see. This structure is called mycelium. Thus, the sequence is fixed. The Petai turns brown first, followed by the growth of dense mycelium. They act as a cleanup crew that arrives right on cue. Chapter 4. A tight weave in the center and mysterious water droplets. If you look closely at the beginning of the video, the network isn't uniform. There is a very dense central area, like the hub of the web. That is the initial inoculation point where the spores first landed and began to grow. This is where the parent colony resides. Some fungi even form specialized structures called rhizomorphs, which resemble roots or thick cords. They act like highways, allowing the fungus to transport nutrients and water throughout the entire colony. Pretty cool, right? But wait, there's something else unusual. Beneath the mycelium, you can often see glistening water droplets, the same ones visible at the start of the video. Where does that water come from? Is it seeping from the Petai beans? Partly, yes, but most of it is metabolic water. As the fungus actively breaks down the sugars and cellulose in the Petai through aerobic respiration, the chemical reaction produces two byproducts, carbon dioxide and water, H2O. So, those water droplets you see are essentially the fungus's own sweat or breath. Furthermore, the fungal activity generates heat, which triggers water vapor condensation around the mycelium. It is a self-contained mini ecosystem. Chapter 5. The world of the microscope from white to gray and brown. Now, we arrive at the heart of our microscopic observation adventure. Why does some mycelium shift from white to gray? And why are there brown mycelial strands? It all comes down to aging and reproduction. White mycelium represents the vegetative phase, a period of active growth. However, when food sources dwindle or the population becomes overcrowded, the fungus enters its reproductive phase. It begins producing spores, many of which contain dark pigments, appearing gray or black. As more spores accumulate on the mycelium surface, the white color is obscured, shifting to gray. Meanwhile, the brown strands, hyphae, visible under the microscope are older hyphae that have thickened their cell walls. The fungus coats these walls with dark pigment melanin to shield itself against UV radiation and desiccation, as well as to defend against other microbes. Chapter 6. Peeking into the spore pouches and the mystery of the round granules. We have already observed numerous sacs along the fine filaments. These are either sporangia or conidiophores, depending on the type of fungus. These sacs serve as spore factories. So, why do we see pitch-black areas under the microscope? That is due to a dense accumulation of dark-colored spores in those regions. The dark pigment in the spores naturally absorbs light, causing them to appear pitch-black. After adding water, perfectly round granules can be seen adhering to the filaments. Those are the spores. Fungal spores are generally perfectly spherical, microscopic in size, measuring only 2 to 10 micrometers, and possess a sticky coating that allows them to attach to a new host. Coming into contact with the fungus can trigger an allergic reaction. Sensitive skin may become red or itchy. Chapter 7. The common thread of the investigation. After exploring the mysteries, let's connect the dots. First, the breakdown of the Petai bean's cellular defense system acts as an invitation for the fungus. Second, the white mycelium is a mass of hyphae that develops once decomposition begins. Third, we observe a dense, web-like structure, a color shift to gray or brown, and under the microscope, spore sacs. Thanks for joining this scientific investigation. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what other strange natural phenomena you'd like us to explore. See you on the next adventure.